Welcome everybody to another brand new episode of It's My Wrestling Podcast. It's me, your host, Chris Dees, as always. Today's episode is a little bit different. I've been doing retro reviews once a month, every month for the last sort of like 5 or 6 months. But March isn't particularly known for its pay-per-views outside of WrestleMania. It's only really been the last like 5 or 6, 7 years where you've had something like Fastlane or Roadblock or some garbage, and I didn't really want to put you guys or myself or Wade through having to do a retro review of Fastlane, so you're welcome for that. So what I did instead was I went back through the history books, tried to find something important that happened in the month of March, something we could go back and either review or have a go at doing ourselves. And of course, the very first WWE Draft took place in March. I can't remember the year. I want to say 2002. That sounds about right.
About right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was somewhere around there. 2001, 2002, something like that. So today we are going to sit down and do our own mock draft using this year's current, or as current as it can be when they're releasing people every 5 minutes, WWE roster. We are recording this in January, so I apologise if by the time this comes out in March, if half of the people that we have been released. I know, I literally
Don't put that on my mind.
Like a few hours ago, I was like, oh shit, I wanted William Regal to be my GM. He got released last night. So hopefully it's nice and accurate. Hopefully they'll wait a couple of months before they fire anybody after WrestleMania, maybe. So yes, like I said, I have been joined by my very good friend, Mr. Wade Wilson. I will explain how we're going to do this all in a couple of minutes. But Wade, for the benefit of any of my UK watchers and listeners, we don't do drafts over here. So like for our UK sports, really it's only, you'd probably only include football or soccer, as you would say, and maybe rugby. But we don't have things like drafts. If a team wants a player, they just buy them from another team, or they'll sign a free agent or something like that. Why are drafts such a big deal? Because you guys go crazy for your drafts, don't you?
Yeah, so from my understanding, so like NBA and NFL, the way that they do their drafts is, they have like their top prospects in college, and like it's usually the worst team, I believe, that gets first round pick, and then they'll sign whatever prospects that they feel would be fit for their team. Then they go to the next team, and then also people can give up their second round draft pick for like whatever other round draft pick to get other people for. It's confusing. It doesn't make sense to me either. But
yeah, it seems like, because if you were to apply that to football, soccer, and you put all of the players from the Premier League in one hat, and then gave the worst team, which would probably be, oh man, last season it would have been Fulham. So Fulham would be signing a player like of Messi or Ronaldo caliber. It just seems a really weird, complicated way of doing things. Like I say, our teams just buy players. Obviously, the teams with the most money buy the best players. It's not a very fair way of doing it. I think a draft would probably be good, but I also don't know how it would apply and how it would work, because, like I say, you would have all the smaller clubs who don't have much money would get the best players, but then they wouldn't have the money to pay them. So
the one thing I will say about WWE, I mean, obviously, it's a scripted sport. So I mean, it is what it is with that aspect. But I love how they're getting the networks involved, so it kind of looks official. I like the way that they do their draft picks. I think it's a little less messier than how NFL and NBA does it. I mean, again, it's scripted, so you know who's going somewhere. But yeah, I prefer WWE's way of drafting.
Yeah, and I like how it takes place over a couple of different nights, but then they do some of it like through the website, WWE.com, and on social media and stuff like that. The only thing that I don't like that they've done more recently is how they'll do the draft, and then they say, oh, the draft comes into effect in like 3 weeks. Like, well, why not just do it in 3 weeks?
Right, yeah, I guess that's just their way of completing storylines, which, like you said, it doesn't really make much sense to me either. Right. I know they used to do it to where, like, if Raw wins, they get a draft pick, or if SmackDown wins, they get a draft pick. I prefer it that way, opposed to they get a certain amount of superstars on each show. I just feel like everything that WWE does, I feel like for the most part, doesn't have any meaning behind it anymore.
Yes.
Um, I feel like there's a lot of throwaways. Like Money in the Bank is probably the biggest example.
Yeah.
The last person who cashed in that actually meant something was Seth Rollins that I can remember.
Yeah, the only outside of WrestleMania, obviously, the only pay-per-view that really feels important is the Rumble.
Right.
Obviously, I love SummerSlam. It happens on my birthday weekend. They talk about it like it's the second biggest pay-per-view of the year of the calendar, but other than it just having a really strong card, it doesn't feel like it means anything other than it being a great card. I think
Like the Survivor Series of 2019 is probably the best example of the last time it meant something. NXT was involved. So it's just kind of like, wow, all these upcoming talents are showing us out. We gotta make a name for ourselves. Yeah. And it felt important. But
yeah,
the
and before
pandemic
that,
happened. Yeah.
before that, I think it would be the one. Was it 2014 or 15 with Sting, where Sting made his debut?
That was 2014. That was the Cena versus the Authority team.
Yeah, so that felt important because it had stakes. It had actual
Right.
stakes on the line. So for the draft, I would move the draft, have Survivor Series, and whichever team wins, that brand gets the first pick.
I like that. Yeah.
Or whoever
I
wins the whole
definitely
night overall gets the first pick, something like that.
I think one of the coolest draft storylines, well, not draft storylines, Survivor Series storylines was the invasion, even though it was poorly executed.
Yeah.
Um, I think that's probably one of my favorite angles because it felt like something could happen, but we knew it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've talked about the invasion on the show loads of times in the past, man. Loads of different opinions, loads of things that went wrong with it. It was a really cool idea. They could have done a lot more with it. But hey, we are here to talk about the draft and to do our own draft, so I'm going to explain a little bit. I'm going to share my screen in a few minutes because we've got a form where I'm going to just type out all of our picks. So originally we were going to do it like, oh, you have to have 10 men main event, you have to have 7 or 6 women or something like that, 5 tag teams, blah, 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 blah. But I think that means that you can plan a little bit too well, and we wanted it to be a bit more stupid, fun, and chaotic, so we're just going to go for it. We're going to choose 30 ourselves, and then once we've got our 30 each, we'll take it in turns, obviously, we will pick our champions. We'll have a little bit of a chat about the divisions that we've ended up with, some potential matchups, some potential Survivor Series matchups against each other as well. And we're also going to choose our general manager for the brand and our commentary team as well, which is going to be a 3-man booth. Or women, you can have men or women, whatever. Anybody from the roster can be used in any capacity as well, so if there's somebody like, I don't know, Beth Phoenix, you might want to bring her out of retirement and put her in the women's division. You could do something like that. Pretty much free reign on it. Choosing not to use a list of wrestlers, we're just going to go off the top of our heads. I've not done any planning. I don't know about Wade, but I've not planned this at all. Any clashes, we'll have to pick again. If you were going to choose Roman and I've already chosen Roman or whatever, then obviously we'll just go on. Tag teams are pretty much free reign as well. You can fill your tag division with existing tag teams, or you can take 2 singles guys and put them together as a tag team. Like for me, the Dirty Dogs, I would have, if I was to have them, for me, Dolph Ziggler is very much a singles guy as well. So he's in my singles division and he's in my tag division. I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, and then we'll have a little bit of a chat at the end. So, Wade, if you are good to go, my friend.
I'm good.
I'm going to share my screen. I apologise to anybody listening on audio. Obviously, you're not going to be able to see the screen, but I will do my best to be as descriptive as we possibly can. I am taking Raw. Wade is taking SmackDown, so obviously I will have the WWE Champion, US Champion, Raw Tag Champs, Raw Women's Champ, 24/7 Champ. Wade on SmackDown will have Universal, Intercontinental, SmackDown Tag, SmackDown Women, and I've given him the King of the Ring because I've got the 24/7 champion. I was going to put Queen of the Ring in there as well, but then Raw don't have an alternative to that, so I apologise that there's no Queen of the Ring, but them's the breaks, that's what we're going with. So, because I'm a nice guy, regardless of what Twitter might tell you, because I'm a nice guy, Wade, I'm going to let you go first because you are my guest. So I'm going to let you have the first draft pick of the 2022 WWE Mock Draft.
All right, my first pick is going to be, let's go Roman.
Right, well, it's been a fun draft. Thanks, everybody. Okay, Roman Reigns. I hope everybody who's watching can see me writing that down. So Roman Reigns is Wade's first pick. So I am going to go a recent development. I'm going to go for Brock Lesnar. Obviously, he only returned recently. He feels pretty full time to me. Apparently, he's going to be doing some house shows. How could I not go for Brock Lesnar, the current WWE champion?
Right.
That already on paper. That's what we're going to get for the next few months, isn't it? Brock versus Roman, title versus title, probably leading to WrestleMania. So that's
God. I hope they don't unify.
Yeah, I've had lots of arguments with people about unification. I don't like the idea of it because then you've got less to fight for, and people are like, yeah, but then you can have more rivalries because there's more guys all in one scene. I'm like, yeah, I get that.
Then I feel like you overexpose too.
Yeah, like how many Fatal 5-Ways are you going to end up with?
Right.
You know? And more battle royals and gauntlet matches and stuff like that. It's just going to be overdone. So yeah, I'm not a fan of unification. Not for the main titles anyway. More than happy for what they did with the North American and the Cruiserweight title on NXT recently. I think that made sense because I like Cruiserweights, but most wrestlers these days are Cruiserweights.
Right.
So what was the point in that title? You know. But anyway, that is our first picks. Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. Wade, you were up again, buddy.
Let's go with Kevin Owens.
You motherfucker. I knew he was going to be high up on your list. So much so that I was like, well, make him my overall first and then give you the opportunity of getting a Brock or somebody. Man, that's annoying. That's changed my whole list already. God damn it. Okay, I am going to go for... Oh, and I should mention as well, guys, this is basically across all of WWE. So we've included, obviously we're only doing Raw and SmackDown, but you can pick from NXT, NXT UK. Hell, if you want, you can have 205 Live, if anybody still watches that show. So with that in mind, big man Walter.
Very nice.
That's going to be my second pick.
Great pick.
Yeah, man. He's a pick that I didn't think of until a few minutes ago.
Huge Walter fan.
You know, he was at New Year's Evil. I was surprised to see Imperium lose to MSK and Riddle.
I'm just glad he didn't take the pin.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't think anybody would have predicted him to take the pin. That would have been an absolute fucking travesty. Yeah, Walter's awesome. I hope we see him in like proper main roster WWE or even just a run in NXT. But
I feel like put him on SmackDown. I feel like he'll be safe.
Yeah.
Who's I feel like Fox would take care of him.
Drew versus Walter.
Oh my God!
Imagine that.
Walter versus Sheamus.
Yeah, Walter versus Sheamus. He'd probably mix it up with Cesaro at some point as well. There's loads of great matches they could have there.
A lot of potential for sure.
Lots of potential. So yeah, Kevin Owens and Walter were our second pick. Over to you, Wade.
I'm gonna go super out of the box on this one. Cameron Grimes.
Okay. Not even a name that I had... Yeah, I hadn't even considered him at any point of my list. Why Grimes? Like, I love Grimes.
So, when he was having, a really good summer in NXT and had the whole feud with LA Knight, he put out that podcast with Corey Graves. And just listening to, like, how much wrestling means to him and just how much fun he's having with his character, man, Grimes is my favorite NXT guy to not make it to the top of the card.
Yeah, I don't know what the plan's going to be for him because he's not really doing anything at the minute, is he? Since the hair versus hair match.
Right.
We've not really seen much of him.
He had that promo, but that's it. Saying that 2022 is going to be his time to go to the top of the roster, but I doubt it.
Yeah. I would have personally called him up by now and put him in there with Happy Corbin. I think their character would work
so good
together. Yeah, it'd be
so good.
Fun. So much fun. But no, that's a really cool pick. A really, like you say, out of the box pick. I am going to go for the man, Becky Lynch. Start off early.
Okay, so we're going back and forth. I didn't know if we were doing it in order.
Yeah, just go for it. Whatever you want.
Okay.
Any order you want. Like I said before, we were going to do men, women, tag teams. You know what I mean? And make sure we had a certain amount of them. But I think it's just a lot more chaotic if we do it.
Yeah,
just
definitely.
Go for broke. So Becky Lynch doesn't really need much explaining. she's the top woman in the whole industry. If she hadn't have got pregnant when she did, I think she would have become a megastar and transcended the company by now, transcended the business. Obviously, COVID didn't help, but everything Becky does turns to gold. I wasn't sure about her being a heel at first. I thought they would give up like they did the last time when they tried to make her heel. Look how that went. She became the biggest star in the industry. Yeah, I love Becky Lynch.
Becky's incredible, for sure.
So she is my number 3 pick. So I have a feeling you're going to go for a woman now.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Io Shirai.
Ah, yes. Another great pick. Would you be using Io like around like the top of your women's?
Absolutely, without question.
You've got to. Absolutely. She disappeared for a while, didn't she, in NXT?
Yeah, I just feel like she was kind of like laying down for the other women that were trying to get on top of that roster. I think she has done so much positive for NXT. Yeah. I would have called her up by now, for sure.
Yeah. When she had those couple of months off, well, I don't know if it was a couple of months, but it felt like it was a while. I assumed it was because she was going to be called up.
Yeah.
I don't know if they've got plans for her in NXT. She's not really with Zoe Starks anymore because I think she's still injured.
Yeah, she's got a torn ACL.
She's not featured in the title scene recently, so maybe. But hey, maybe she's also sitting there thinking, well, look how they've used other Asian wrestlers on the main roster. Do I want to go to the main roster?
So yeah, I feel like she, in my opinion, I think Io's better than Asuka and Kairi Sane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree.
I just say like overall talent, and I just feel like her character is so much more likable.
Yeah, even as a heel, like I've never hated her.
Yeah, she was incredible as a heel.
So that's a great pick.
And
that's a great pick, man. Really good pick, Io Shirai. I would have, if she hadn't have been picked in the next sort of like 5 or 10, I would have picked Io. So I'm going to keep fleshing out my women's division. I'm going to go for Sasha Banks. That's a tailor-made rivalry right there. Becky versus Sasha. I think that's one of the rivalries within the Four Horsewomen we've not really seen as much of, have we?
I think we've seen more Becky versus Sasha, and Becky versus Charlotte and Sasha versus Charlotte more than anything.
Yeah. No, but yeah, that's another really easy one. Sasha Banks. I think Becky is the best woman that WWE have got, and Sasha would 100% be number 2 in that list. She's making a bit of a name for herself outside of the company as well. Really happy for her, in The Mandalorian and stuff like that, and going to the ESPYs. Yeah, Sasha Banks is awesome. She's my number 4 pick. Look at that against Io Shirai, Becky Lynch, or Sasha Banks. That's
a hell of a match.
Pay-per-view, isn't it?
Yeah,
caliber.
They did that for what was that? Great American Bash in NXT.
Yeah,
like In Your House or something like that. I know it was one of the two.
I can't remember. I remember, but I can't remember. I know exactly what you mean. But yeah, no, awesome, man. Over to you for your next pick.
I'm gonna match you with a female pick and go with Kaylee Ray.
Ooh, okay, yeah. Big fan of Kaylee Ray.
I think she's very underrated. I don't think she's talked about nearly enough.
No, and we've not seen nearly enough of her in NXT yet either.
Yeah, I think they're kind of trying to find something for her in 2.0. I'm kind of worried they're gonna let her go. I really hope I'm wrong, but I don't know. She's got to be like upper 30s, maybe.
I was gonna say yeah.
I don't know.
Like early,
maybe mid 30s
at least.
Yeah. Because I know she's been wrestling a while.
Yeah. She's been wrestling over here in the UK for what feels like decades. But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. I don't know. Every time somebody's not on TV for a few weeks now, you start to think, shit, are they getting released?
Especially now, man. Ugh.
Yeah, man. Really good pick again, though. Really good pick. I am going to go back to the men because I think I've got more. Oh, we've got the same amount of women now. So I'm going to go back to the men and balance it out with Sheamus.
Great pick.
Sheamus is one of the most criminally underrated wrestlers in WWE history. Never comes into the conversation, even though he has won everything apart from the Intercontinental title, which would obviously make him a Grand Slam. Multiple-time champion, I think, in pretty much every belt.
And he's one of the first guys to beat Cena on his debut pay-per-view. Pretty sure.
Yep. I forget the exact amount of days, but he was the he won the title quicker than anybody had.
Yeah.
After making his main roster debut, he's awesome. Even at the age that he's at now, probably approaching 40. I don't know, maybe even.
I know he's got the same neck problems that Triple H has, so it's kind of worrying that he's dwindling down in his career.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I think he's probably got a couple of years left. I think he would stick around in WWE to do something else within the company.
I think he'd be a producer or something.
Yeah, a producer or a GM, something in NXT. Yeah, I love Sheamus again, repping somebody from the UK. No, he's from the Republic of Ireland, isn't he?
Yeah,
Or maybe not. Okay, but over this side of the world anyway. I'm gonna rep Sheamus always. I adore Sheamus. So over to your next one, Wade.
I'd probably drop the gimmick and just make him Baron Corbin again.
Fuck you. Corbin was going to be my next pick.
You put it in my mind with Cameron Grimes. I'm like, oh, I gotta have him on the same.
Yeah, I feel like I've mentioned too many names, and I'm like, shit, Chris, stop talking. Just be like, yeah, great pick, move on. Yeah, Corbin was gonna be my next one. You know how much I love Corbin.
Yeah,
I really do. He's another guy who I wouldn't say underrated, but overhated. I think
he's very underrated. I think he has the best finisher in the company. I don't think anybody touches him.
100%. How many times have you seen a spear, a tombstone, a jackhammer kicked out of? Like all of
super
these
kick.
Super kicks. All of these supposed like super dominant finishers, pedigrees have been kicked out of. Stunners, rock bottoms have been kicked out of.
At least with the pedigree, though, it's always been like big time matches when people have kicked out. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
everything else I'll agree on, but I feel like the pedigree is pretty protected for the most part.
But still, to this day, Corbin, no one's ever kicked out at the end of days.
Right.
It's an awesome move, and pair it with the
Deep Six.
Deep Six, yeah, and it was a number, but the name escaped me. Deep Six.
And can I just say that little sequence that he does when he rolls under the ring, comes back for that clothesline, is like one of my favorite sequences.
Yeah, like out of the corner of the ring, runs around back in, yeah. And they're like, where's he gone? Boom.
Right.
Where could he have possibly gone? Yeah, love it. I love Corbin. God damn it. Okay, right, that's going to change what I do next then. Okay, all right, I'm going to go for Drew McIntyre.
Very nice.
Keeping up the UK contingent again. Jesus, I've got 4 Europeans already. Drew doesn't need much explaining. Drew is still one of the top guys. I'm glad that they've taken him out of the title scene for such a long time. I feel like he's on the verge of getting back involved.
I think so too. Scene.
I think I can confidently mention Jinder Mahal, knowing that you won't pick Jinder Mahal. I wasn't a big fan of that rivalry. It went on a bit too long. It was all centered around a fucking sword and a motorbike.
I think it was the 2 goons he had with him that ruined it, because Jinder's incredible.
Yeah, I love Jinder. Mm-hmm. I get a lot of hate for that and a lot of people taking the mick, but I love Jinder. I think he was not a great champion, but he did the best that he could.
He was solid. You know, he did what he could.
Yeah. Look at. I'm not going to mention any more names, but there have been other title reigns. There have been other title reigns where you expected them to be amazing and they weren't because of poor writing, poor booking, poor opponents, not many strong challengers. I think Jinder did a fine job. You know, considering what he was given and the caliber of opponents he had. Awesome. Right, so on to your next one.
I'm gonna go with the females again and pick Charlotte Flair.
Oh, okay, yeah. Charlotte would have been on mine. Lovely. Not really much you can say about Charlotte, is there, that hasn't already been said?
The most hated woman on that entire company because of her father.
Yeah, because of her father and because of herself in recent times as well.
Mm-hmm.
But no, she's still a massive asset to whichever brand has her. She's a name, isn't she? She's known.
Absolutely, very established.
One of the few women outside of the company that you would know, even if it is just because of who her dad is. People know the name Ric Flair. You hear the surname Flair, you think, oh, that must be Ric Flair's daughter. Cool. There you go. So,
right.
Okay, I'm going to stick with the men for my next pick. I'm going to go with Seth Rollins.
Very nice.
Because I was going to go for Seth or Kevin Owens. Obviously, you took Kevin Owens. Seth's work in the last year, I think, has arguably been the best.
The last 2 years.
Yeah, probably. You see, I
all
love
the pandemic. He was
gimmick.
phenomenal.
Yeah, I love the Messiah gimmick. I love everything that he did there. It obviously, once he started losing his disciples, it started to lose something from it. It was great when he had Buddy Murphy. It was great when he had AOP. Obviously, it didn't work out with Austin Theory, but it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, that gimmick. Seth's one of the best in the world, but for some reason he doesn't get into the conversation, and I think it's just because I don't know. I don't know.
I think it's because he waves the flag of WWE, and people don't like that.
Yeah, it's because he's been successful.
Yeah, exactly.
There is such a thing. Well, there isn't such a thing as being too successful, but you know what fans are like. Fans desperately wanted Seth to beat Brock. Seth finally beat Brock,
and then they turned on him.
Yeah, like literally within months they were turning on Seth. It's bizarre. Awesome. Right then, back to your next pick, buddy.
All right, my next pick is going to be the man that doesn't miss, Carmelo Hayes.
Nice.
After that match with Roddy, man, Jesus.
Yeah, and you knew that was going to be the best match of the night.
Absolutely.
100%. Yeah, man, Carmelo Hayes is the next, not the next big thing, but I think he's going to be...
he's going to be very valuable to that company.
Yeah. I hope he doesn't get lost in the mid card because he feels. Like, I think if you were to look at him, you'd think probably in the mid card, like size, build, all that kind of stuff.
Maybe
is Vince going to look at him like a star? If Vince is as involved with NXT as we think he is now, as much as we're led to believe he is, if he's seeing Carmelo Hayes matches and doesn't use the guy as the star that he could be, Vince has officially lost it.
Yeah, I feel like Grayson Waller. I think Grayson Waller is a Vince project, 100%.
Oh God, yeah. I don't think AJ Styles would be involved with him,
right?
If he wasn't a Vince project. And that very conveniently brings me on to my next pick of AJ Styles.
Son of a bitch.
See, this is where talking about potential rivalries can help because I'm like, oh shit, I forgot about AJ. Let's throw AJ in there. Yeah, I'm not going to go into too much detail on AJ Styles.
Most accomplished indie guy ever.
Exactly.
Next to Seth Rollins, easily.
But yeah, with Seth Rollins, probably CM Punk, and Daniel Bryan. Yeah, that's it. I'm literally not going to say anything about AJ Styles. He's still one of the best wrestlers in the world. So there you go.
Easily.
That's all I need to say about him.
I'm going to bring in another woman and say Bayley.
You motherfucker. See,
you got two, I got two.
Yeah. I didn't know
let you have all four of them.
I didn't know who to plump for from the... I was thinking I'd go for Bayley because Becky and Bayley, obviously, I think that's the least done.
Right.
Isn't it? Out of the four horsewomen, I think Becky versus Bayley has barely been touched at all. I think that could be awesome, especially... I don't know. How would Bayley come back? Would she come back heel still when Becky?
I hope so. I don't want to face Bayley ever again.
I think we could see face Bayley again, but I don't.
Just not the hugging shit.
Yeah, not the huggy, not the inflatable flailing tube men. I don't think we'll get that. I think she could just. Right. I don't know. She could be a bit of an in between, a bit like the Man, because the Man was always very anti-hero
for sure. I never really cared about super babyface Becky.
No, I didn't either. Right, okay, so you've got another woman. I am going to balance it out with another woman on my own. I'm going to go for Alexa Bliss because
very nice, great pick.
Becky's great with her character. Sasha, I don't think is the strongest on the mic. I have died on the hill many times that I think Alexa Bliss is the greatest mic worker / character / talker, the women's division has ever had. I don't think anybody has ever played the bitch as well as Alexa.
I think if there's anybody who's close to her right now, I'd probably say Bayley is right there with her.
Yeah. Bayley massively improved.
It took Bayley a long time though.
Yeah, it took her a long time, but and when she first turned heel, I wasn't feeling it at all.
It felt very forced.
So forced, so forced. And the Seth Rollins laugh that she was doing and things like that, it just didn't feel right. But she she fell into it. She grew into it big time. Bayley was awesome. She was my female MVP during the pandemic.
Right.
100%. Cool. Back to you then, Wade.
Since you got Walter, I'm going to go with Pete Dunne.
Oh, I didn't even think of Pete Dunne, which is scandalous because he grew up like a few miles away from me.
The craziest thing about Pete Dunne, and I have talked to him face to face, and I have just watched his career from like when he started to now. I just think Pete Dunne is like the most well-rounded guy for his age, and it's absolutely insane.
Yeah, he's still like what, early to mid 20s.
I think he's like 24, 25, something like that.
25 maximum. And he's as good as, well, he's as good as, maybe not as good
Anybody.
as AJ, but he's getting there.
Yeah.
He's getting there, definitely. It's a shame we've only seen him like once on the main roster when they were in Manchester and he came out to take out Enzo.
Right.
I love Pete Dunne.
That was so funny, him knocking Enzo out too.
Yeah, that was always funny. Seeing anybody knock out Enzo. Remember when they had all the cruiserweights in the ring?
Yep.
And they all took him out one by
All
one.
took turns, yep.
That was awesome. Oh, man, Pete Dunne. Okay, I'm going to try and match that with somebody... somebody similar. Okay, I am going to go with... I always get the first name a little bit wrong. Ilia Dragonov. One half of my match of the year for last year against Walter at TakeOver. And I believe the year before that, it was my match of the year again. Everything that those two guys have done together is incredible. I have to have them on the same roster so that main roster fans can see that matchup. Yeah, not much more I can say there. I was surprised. I was really surprised when he won the NXT title. I thought Walter would lose it to somebody bigger.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was going to be Rampage Brown to beat him.
Yeah, Rampage Brown. I thought at one point it might be Harry Smith Jr.
Right. He wasn't around very long, was he?
No, he's already gone. Yeah, he went a couple of months ago, didn't he? I just think they didn't know what to do with him.
Yeah.
The main thing that surprised me about Dragonov winning the title was that he won it in their second match. I thought, how you don't often get a sequel without it being a trilogy.
And the best part of the second one is there was fans for it.
Oh yeah, it deserved fans. It was incredible. Yeah, man, Dragonov is my next pick. So who is yours? How many have we got there? I think is that 10? Yeah, we're already through our first 10. Lovely.
Let's see. So solely for the heel character, Tommaso Ciampa.
Yeah, Ciampa was going to be one of my picks.
You got to take away those black and golds out of NXT, man. Ciampa's incredible.
Yeah, I think if he does go main roster, he won't have much of a run there. Maybe like 6 months or so.
See, I feel like if he's paired up with somebody who can elevate him enough, keep him away from The Miz, I don't think that'll work out very well because it failed the first time. Shit, have him go with somebody like Kevin Owens, man, or Seth Rollins. Both of those guys can elevate him so high.
My next pick is going to be the person that I would have had Ciampa go with because Ciampa was going to be on my list to go against this person. And I can't believe that we've made it down to number 11 without picking, in my mind, the greatest of all time.
Oh, my goodness gracious, yeah.
How did it take this long to get Randy Orton on this list?
I agree.
I mean, to be fair, look at the caliber of guys that we've gone for before. It's not like, we've gone for anybody less.
I feel like Randy Orton, for as long as he's been there so far, it's not that he's like forgettable, but it's like I just feel like he's so damn good, and I don't think anybody's on his level. Like Roman and Brock would probably be the only comparisons right now.
I think he's, along with like the old school heels, like an old school heel Flair. Randy Orton, he's a top 5 greatest heel of all time.
Yeah.
Easily. It's not even really up for debate. Like you say, even at his age now, he's still putting on great matches. I love everything that he's currently doing. Orton is awesome. Right, over to you for your next one.
All right, so my next one is going to be L.A. Knight. Great talker and an incredible character.
Yeah, I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet, for real. We've not seen him at this point. Obviously, we're recording this in January. Like the 7th, I think it is today. We've not seen LA Knight for about 3 weeks.
Yeah, so, 2-3 weeks. Yeah, that sounds about right.
I
hope he's getting called up.
Yeah, yeah. Could there be something on the horizon? Even when we have seen him recently. So he hosted Halloween Havoc. Has he had like one match since then? I think maybe.
Yeah, he wrestled. What the hell? Didn't he wrestle in the War Games match?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, of course he did. Yeah, and he had a pretty good showing in the War Games match. I think he would be him and Cameron Grimes.
I feel like this is my fear for LA Knight. Well, not fear, but I feel like Bobby Roode will get let go, and I feel like LA Knight's going to take that place.
My fear for LA Knight is he's nearly 40.
Right, yeah, that too.
You know, I'm pretty sure he's 38. He's been in the industry a lot longer than people realise. He's awesome, but yeah, he's just getting towards the end. So I don't know if Vince would take that chance on him. I'd love to see it happen. I think he's amazing. He feels like he's been in NXT a lot longer than he has as well. It doesn't feel like he's been there for like what, maybe a year, maybe less than a year.
Yeah, he's been there about a year. That sounds about right.
Right, I'm going to go with my next pick, and I'm going to do something that we haven't done yet. The Usos.
Ooh, very nice.
Need to start fleshing out that tag division. The Usos, one of the greatest tag teams of all time. I think the current best tag team in the world. I mean, you could put anybody up against them, and the Usos would be the current best tag team in the world.
Absolutely.
I don't like to admit it out loud, but I would like to see them wrestle the Young Bucks one day, just out of sheer curiosity to see how good that match would be.
My only fear for that is whoever's booking it. I just feel like because all these indie promotions like favor the Bucks, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like the Usos were a WWE made thing, so that's the only thing I would be worried about.
And one thing that we've done on this draft is we've split up the bloodline.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, I thought when you picked Roman, I thought, okay, you're probably going to go for the Usos at some point then to reunite them, but
right.
Yeah, there we go, the Usos. So they are the first team in my tag division. Over to you.
All right, so the first team in my tag division is probably going to be MSK.
Ooh, all right, very nice. Yeah, not a team that I thought about. Why MSK?
I think it's Wesley and Nash Carter, right?
Yeah.
Nash Carter, I just think is a hell of a human being. I love everything that he stands for, and I love that he does everything for a fallen family member.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he? Yeah, was it his?
It was father. Mm-hmm.
I was going to say his dad or his granddad. I couldn't remember. You know what? My main reason for getting MSK on the main roster would be to get them away from the NXT crowd.
Absolutely.
You know, get away from... Obviously, I don't want to get into that whole mess of what's going on.
They deserve that spotlight, man.
Izzy and Izzy's parents, the reaction that they get, despite being so incredibly talented. Yeah, no, that's a solid pick, man. Really good pick for the tag division. Okay, I am going to keep fleshing my tag division out a little bit. There's a couple that I'm thinking of going for. I don't want to go for a rivalry or anything that we've seen too much in the past. I'm trying to make mine a little bit more fresh, get some new rivalries going on. So I am going to go for Grizzled Young Veterans.
Very nice.
For the simple fact that I am British, they are British, they wrestle the exact style of wrestling that I love, that hard-hitting, no-nonsense... nothing fancy.
Zach Gibson, man. Let's just talk about how just incredible he is.
Yeah, he is. He's a great talker. I don't think he connects great with the US audience because
not at all.
He has a mega strong accent being from Liverpool. But yeah, I love GYV. I think their matches against the Usos would be really good because they would sort of like complement each other by having that differing style. So yeah, Grizzled Young Veterans are my next pick. Over to you.
All right, so I'm gonna match you with another tag team and go with Mustache Mountain.
That noise
have them reunite with Pete Dunne.
was anger. Yeah, British strong style, very nice. Big strong boys. That's another one that doesn't need much explaining, but what I will say is every time I've seen Mustache Mountain in a tag match, it has been the best match of the night.
Easily. And Tyler
yeah.
Bateman, another really young guy who's really, really good.
You're getting Bate versus Dunn again. You're getting the reuniting of the trio. You've
How
got
about this match? Tyler Bate versus Carmelo Hayes. or Trent Seven versus Baron Corbin.
Who else have you got there involved? And Ciampa. Put Ciampa in the mix as well. Ciampa versus Tyler Bate.
Mm-hmm.
Lovely. Yeah.
Surprised we never got that.
I was lucky enough to see them at Takeover Brooklyn 4, the only time I've ever been to a show outside of the UK, and as I say, their match was the match of the night. Absolutely incredible. Awesome. Right, so I think we've got two teams each now, haven't we? Right, yeah. So I'm going to move away from the tag teams. I'm going to go back to the women, flesh out their division a little bit more. Go for Shayna Baszler. Because I'm just a massive fan. What the fuck have I written her name as? Shayna. Shayna. She's massively underutilized, misused on the main roster. The way she came in, bit Becky's neck, looked a bit mental. Everyone was like, this is weird, but it was pretty cool. It was different.
It was very different. A lot of people shit on it immediately.
Tore the Elimination Chamber apart and absolutely dominated. There is absolutely no reason why she shouldn't have beaten Becky for the title at WrestleMania. Becky wanted her to. Becky was pushing for it backstage, and they decided, no, what's a better idea is rather than having this badass, dominant woman that's known from another sport and could bring in more eyes, we'll have you just hand the title over to somebody else.
Right.
Crazy. Yeah, I love Shayna. I think she's been used... Obviously, she's been used pretty poorly for a whole main roster run, but Jesus Christ, the last 6 months to a year have been
I think
brutal.
the biggest problem with Shayna is her style doesn't translate very well with casuals.
Yeah.
In my honest opinion, and I'd hate to see them let her go, but I think she would thrive on like Impact or hell, even maybe AEW to give that women's division something.
Yeah, look, in NWA, it's a shame Ring of Honor have briefly gone because she could have been a good asset for them. I don't know, like I know what you're saying and I agree to a certain extent, but whenever somebody says to me, oh, the UFC MMA style doesn't really work in WWE, I always think, well, yeah, but what about Ronda and Brock?
Well, I mean, you also got to remember Brock was established before the UFC run too, though.
He was, yeah, that's true, and Ronda wasn't just like some part-time mid-card UFC woman, was she? She was like she was the Becky Lynch of UFC, essentially. Cool. Okay, then back over to you, buddy.
All right, so I will match you on women and say, oh, this is a hard pick. Let's go with Xia Li. A lot of potential.
Yeah, nice. Have we seen Xia Li in the last?
She was there not this past SmackDown because I did the best at 10, but she was on the last episode before that.
Yeah, I was. I think the early presentation of Xia Li gives me hope for Io Shirai.
Yeah.
To see an Asian woman taken seriously, because as soon as she was called up, Xia Li, I thought, oh fuck, this is going to be bad, isn't it? Because she's great.
And they presented her very well too so far.
Yeah, they have. They've presented her like an actual threat. You know, which is impressive when you consider she didn't really do much in NXT other than the whole, what was it, Tian Sha, however you say it, the storyline with.
You talk about with Karen Q.
Yeah, with Karen Q. I love how we can both confidently say Karen Q, even though people are still like, oh, I wonder who it was. It was fucking Karen Q. It was obvious. Right. It was obvious from the start.
And then she's falling asleep in the crowd now.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of curious to see what they're gonna do with that.
Right then, I'm just gonna count these up. How many women have you got? You've got Xia Li, Bayley, Charlotte, Kaylee Ray, and Io Shirai. So you've got 5. I have Shayna, Alexa, Sasha, and Becky. Okay, cool. Right, I'm gonna balance that out. I'm gonna go for Dakota Kai.
Dakota Kai is phenomenal.
She's phenomenal.
She just doesn't. I just feel like her character's never good.
Yeah,
I kind of put her in the same category as Tegan Knox.
So here's a weird thing for me, I don't know if this is even going to sound right, especially when you think about these days, like the beauty standards of these days. I think Dakota might be too skinny.
She's very like she's petite for sure.
Yeah, she's
Like
petite and really skinny,
some
and
of her moves look really awkward.
I don't know if like against somebody like a Charlotte or you know, I mean, although Sasha's quite skinny as well, isn't she, and petite? So I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know. Just when I see her, like the first thing I think of when I see her is, Jesus, she looks like unwell because of how skinny she is. She's awesome.
Yeah.
Dakota Kai is awesome. That's why she's on my list. I'm not a fan of the character. This whole schizophrenic, sort of like losing her mind character. Um, I don't think she has the personality to pull it off.
Yeah, that's what I'm
It
saying,
was
right?
crazy forced, so forced. But there is no denying how good she's in the ring. She's been in NXT for quite a while now. I think it's about time to give her a shot on the main roster, especially with how many women have been released recently. So Dakota
Yeah,
Kai
I feel like
is,
the women's division went from like having so much potential to like nothing. Like
yeah,
it seems so slim these days.
yeah. It's been like there's been well, it's basically just been the same revolving three rivalries for the last year,
Right.
hasn't it? They always come back around to Charlotte and Becky,
Which isn't
um,
necessarily a bad
which
thing,
isn't
but
necessarily a
at the
bad thing,
same
no.
time, it shouldn't be their crutch.
But for like the best part of a year, you constantly had Shayna and Nia together against a tag team, whoever it might be, and then you would get a bunch of singles matches involving those four women, and then more tag matches, and like it just went on for like 6 months.
Yeah.
They don't know. They just don't know how to book
I just
anyone
feel like
outside.
with Naya, it was just such a tough situation because she was hurting people.
Yeah,
So it was just kind of like, do you let her go on her own and hurt somebody? Like, look what happened with the Charlotte match. I mean, whether it was booked to be a shoot or if it was an actual shoot, we'll never know.
that was
You
a
know what I
shoot.
mean?
For me, that was a shoot, 100%.
Yeah.
Awesome.
How many women do you have now?
So we've both
You have
got
five?
five each now.
Okay, cool. Um, I'm gonna go with the rated R superstar Edge.
Yeah, nice. Edge was going to be one of my picks eventually. I think Edge has been one of the best superstars of the last year. His rivalry with Seth was my rivalry of last year.
I mean, never in a million years did I think I'd ever get to see that man wrestle ever again. And
Yeah,
then his return at the Rumble and me getting to see his first like WrestleMania back was pretty awesome.
yeah, no, completely agree, man. It was brilliant. Um, I got pretty emotional watching him return at the Rumble. My favorite Royal Rumble of all time. Edge's Edge's defying time at the
Yeah.
minute, isn't he? He hasn't lost a step in the last 20 years. You wouldn't think that he had been away for 9 years. He genuinely still wrestles as well as he probably ever has. His rivalry with Randy Orton was the perfect way to ease him back into things. Great rivalry, great matches. The greatest wrestling match of all time. The Backlash, of course.
Those camera angles are wild.
Yeah, I think Edge has been used absolutely perfectly. I think he's a dark horse to maybe win the Rumble. I know he's obviously
You
won
think
it.
he'd win it again?
Well, because of how things have gone, obviously by the time this goes out in March, because of the way that things have gone recently, I was thinking at first it was going to be Lashley, who is obviously going against Lesnar, so I would imagine he's not winning it. I did have Kevin Owens or Seth Rollins in there, but they've obviously both very recently challenged unsuccessfully. Big E was going to be... He was my pick before he won the title last year.
Mm-hmm.
And on the SmackDown side of things, I think it's very easy to say Drew again. But yeah, I just don't think there's that many viable...
I'm gonna go with my forever dark horse pick and say Baron Corbin.
Please make that happen.
Wishful thinking, man.
If we will it into existence, speak it into existence.
Oh my
maybe it'll
god,
happen.
I would scream so hard if he won.
I'd love to see him get Money in the Bank again, but actually cash it in successfully this time. Corbin, that the gimmick of having the Money in the Bank just suits a snivelling heel like him so well. Okay, right. So you went for Edge, so I'm going to match that with another singles guy. A little bit out of the box. Omos.
Nice.
Um, you need that big guy. You need that attraction. Imagine Omos and Walter going at it and just literally killing each other. Who else have I got? Sheamus versus Omos.
The only problem I would have with Omos going against those guys, I just like he's not bad in the ring. Like obviously he's a presence, but like, can he wrestle? Like Walter can wrestle. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I agree. I don't think we've seen enough of him, and I don't think he's been allowed to wrestle yet because he hasn't needed to because of the programs he's been in. And they obviously for a long time he was just the sidekick, wasn't he? They had AJ do all the wrestling, and then they had the Omos being the muscle. But I think it's probably going to be hard to give him a personality. I don't think he'll ever be as big of a deal as the Big Show was.
No, never.
But
they tried so hard with Braun Strowman and then killed it off with that heavily booked babyface Roman Reigns run.
But I would just go for Omos because, like I said, I think you just need an attraction. You need an attraction. You need a big guy. Okay, over to you.
I'm gonna go with Finn Balor, man.
Motherfucker, he was my next one.
Finn Balor,
he was gonna be my last one, but I thought you might go for Omos for the same reason I
did. I think just Finn Balor and just anybody that I have on this roster would be incredible. Tyler Bate to name one.
Yeah. When you said Tyler Bate, I was looking through to see, have we picked Finn Balor yet? Because that would be an amazing match.
Yeah.
You've got Finn versus Pete Dunne again. You've got Finn versus Bate. You've got Finn versus Carmelo Hayes.
Finn versus MSK. Oh, my goodness gracious.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. Right, okay. That throws a spanner in the works because I was going to choose him. Okay. I'm calling somebody up who I'm pretty sure we are going to see called up in the very, very near future. The new NXT champion at time of recording, Mr. Braun Breaker. Have I spelled that right? Yeah, it's 2 Ks. It just doesn't look right.
Yeah, it's BR, not NR.
Oh yeah, Braun Breaker. Didn't even notice that. I was focusing on the K's. Yeah, I think Braun is, as everyone has said at this point, he's the future of the company.
He's absolutely a future.
He's a Vince guy. He's got the look. He's got the intensity that Vince likes.
I was saying this to my buddy the other day. When he goes up to the main roster, I'm kind of worried. Like, he's a big guy. He can wrestle.
Yeah.
He can talk. But can he appeal to casual fans? That's always the biggest worry I have. Yeah. Like Baron Corbin's lone wolf gimmick, it flopped hard. And Baron Corbin was incredible.
I don't think that the Steiners were a great team, weren't they? But I don't think they particularly resonated with fans. I don't think they were one of the most popular teams at the time
because they were actually wrestlers.
Scott Steiner in his later runs, I think he sort of connected with the fans a little bit. But
I feel like when he feuded with Triple H, he was very over. Yeah,
and that was because he was a larger than life character as well, wasn't it? And because you knew he was a bit mental.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Braun's got that to him yet, but there's a hell of a lot of time for someone like Braun.
Absolutely.
What, early 20s, mid 20s, maybe? Yeah, he's awesome. He's the future. I think he will be world champion within 2 years, and probably not the coming Rumble, obviously, not this Rumble, but maybe 2023 or 2024.
I'd love to see him debut in this year's Rumble just to see what he's got.
Yeah, like as champion.
Just to see how he handles main roster talent versus NXT talent.
Yeah, and to see if the crowd know who he is. See if they have any affinity towards him yet. Awesome. Right then, so on to your next one.
I'm going to go with Toxic Attraction.
Okay. Yeah, nice. 2 for the price of 1. Lovely. Is that just GG and JC?
GG and JC, yeah.
Right. Okay.
I guess Mandy will beat her own thing.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That's a good one.
Just to have a women's tag team in there.
Yeah. You need to have a solid tag team. I think let's be honest. If it's Vince booking it, you're going to get Xia Li and Io Shirai as a tag team at some point, aren't you? Kabuki Warriors 2.0. Yeah, no, I really like Toxic Attraction. I wasn't sure of them at first, but I think they've done a really good job.
I was worried about Gigi because I know she's got quite the past, but
yeah. Yeah.
Very happy with her presentation.
Yeah. I think they've been awesome. I'm not going to be tempted to take Mandy, just to take her away from from Toxic Attraction. Oh, you are now outweighing me on women, aren't you? So I feel like should I
I
take?
think you just need a tag team, and then you'll be balanced. I think.
I don't want to take one.
I hear you.
There's none that I'm too bothered about, to be honest, with the women's tag teams. I feel like I can confidently say these two names without you taking them. I'm not bothered about Casey and Caden. You've already got Io Shirai, so there's no Io and Zoe Starks. I don't know. No, I'm gonna go for a woman, but just a singles woman. Big fan of Cora Jade.
Cora Jade's awesome.
I think similar to a Braun Breaker. I think she's the future. I think she will be NXT Women's Champion. They've made the right call in not pulling the trigger too soon. I think it was right to keep it on Mandy at New Year's Evil. Yeah, I just like everything about Cora. I like her look. I like the skater stuff. Darby Allin doesn't, but I do.
I cannot believe how hard she clapped back at him. It was amazing.
She fucking murdered him. Absolutely destroyed him in one tweet. Yeah, she's awesome. She's badass. She's got a good presentation. Good in the ring. She's happy to take risks. Look what she did in War Games. That was awesome. I was really worried when she took that bump.
Me too.
Because she's only a little thing, isn't she? She's only a tiny little.
She's tiny, yeah,
skinny thing. So I was impressed and worried. So yeah, Cora Jade fleshes out my women's division quite nicely. Over to you, Wade.
I'm gonna finish Toxic Attraction and add Mandy.
Okay, fair enough.
All right, I have to use the restroom really quick. I'll be right back.
Right, okay, no, fair enough. Not much that we can say about Mandy Rose, really, I don't think. So I'm gonna beef up my tag division because I think I've only got 2 teams at this point. Yeah, I've only got 2 teams. It's impossible to not go for the New Day, which would obviously be Woods and Kofi, because they're my favourite tag team of all time. The trio, the faction of the New Day are my favourite trio, my favourite faction of all time. I absolutely love Kofi Kingston, absolutely love Xavier Woods. I think Xavier Woods is one of the most underrated wrestlers of all time. I'm glad that he was given the gimmick of King of the Ring to run with. I think he's doing a great job of that so far.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah. It's a controversial thing I always say when people are talking about, who's the greatest tag team of all time? Is it Edge and Christian, the Hardys? Is it blah blah blah? I always say New Day. I don't care what anyone...
New Day and Usos, man. I think just overall, beginning to end of their career. Well, not end of their career. Beginning to now, just phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Like Edge and Christian are great. Dudley's are great, but neither the Usos nor the New Day need to have hardcore matches to get over. Exactly.
Like outside of my favorite match of all time, TLC 2, Mania 17. Outside of those, I know Meltzer didn't give them it, but outside of those 5-star matches, how many other classics really did any of those teams have? Sure, they had great matches against each other, but they all brought the best out of each other. When you put them against other teams, they had good matches, but fucking
like if I were to pick anybody out of that like group of talent, I'd probably say the Dudleys were my favorite out of all of them.
Oh, it was Hardy Boys for me easily.
Yeah,
they just resonated with me more.
I think it's just because I don't like Matt Hardy as a human being. It's probably why.
Yeah. But, I can't disagree. I'm not a fan of Matt anymore. I used to be a big fan of Matt, not anymore.
Yeah.
New Day just put on classic after classic. Look what they've just done against the Usos at day one. The 200th time they've wrestled, and they are still 5-star matches.
Still keep it fresh.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, oh shit, this is like the 100th time they've wrestled. But then by the end of the match, you're like, okay, that was better than all the other 100.
Yeah.
Like, it always still feels special and as big of a deal as it did the first 99 times. It never feels... Right. I'm never like, oh, here we go again.
Right.
I'm more like, yeah, here we go again. Let's do it. You know? So, yeah. New Day helped to flesh out my tag division. Over to you.
All right. I'll go out of the box on this one and say Gallus. I think the Coffee Brothers are incredible.
Yeah, man.
Wolfgang's okay. I just something about just like his presentation of who he is, I'm just not really a fan of.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Like he literally comes off as a bartender who became a wrestler. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I'm pretty indifferent on him. I don't really have an opinion. I'm not a fan. I'm also not a fan. Just not got much to say about him. But yeah, Gallus are great. I think people are still somehow sleeping on NXT UK. Like,
well, to be fair, didn't they just get rid of fans again, or are there fans there?
I wish I could tell you, but honestly, I've not paid much attention to it for a little while.
Yeah, it's probably been over a year since I watched.
Just not got around to it. When I do watch it, it's incredible. But I forget about it because they don't promote it well enough. Not even in the UK. It doesn't. There's no adverts. There's no.
That's TV crazy.
Spots. Yeah, there's no billboards. Nothing. Honestly, there's nothing. You wouldn't know that it exists apart from the odd advert on NXT or whatever.
It's sad, man.
Or tweets. It's really bad. Right. Okay. Over to me then. I think we've got the same amount of tag teams, but I feel like I still need more because my biggest complaint of the last 10 years has been there's not been enough tag teams involved in tag team feuds and in the division. So I am going to go for... there's two that I'm considering. I'm going to go for the Dirty Dogs.
It's fair.
You mentioned Bobby Roode earlier. Yeah, he's getting on a little bit now towards probably the last few years of his career, but they are a solid, dependable team. Dolph Ziggler, massively underrated. He's always been, like I say, dependable. Dolph's one of those guys that you can always rely on for a great match. Yeah, not too much more I can say about that. Dolph has got a Hall of Fame career. Bobby Roode is a tag team specialist. Yeah, and they're a really good heel team as well. Obviously, I've got New Day, faces, Usos, somewhere in between, grizzled young veterans, heels. I think they just round that off quite nicely, those guys. So yeah, over to you, Wade, for your next pick.
Okay, so I'm gonna match you with a tag team and say Street Profits.
How the fuck did I not? My God, I didn't choose Profits. Fucking hell.
Just for the inspiration of your last tweet of the Frog Splash, I'm a huge fan of Montez.
Yeah, he's gonna be a star, isn't he? When they eventually split up, and I know they don't need to split up, and I don't want them to split up.
It's gonna happen.
I'm sick of teams splitting up, but it is gonna happen.
It needs to happen, in my opinion. His match against Roman was pretty damn good, considering,
I think people are sleeping on Dawkins as well, though. Dawkins,
I feel like could be a good mid-card guy, for sure.
Yeah. There's always with a tag team, there's always one guy who's obviously like the focal point, or pretty much always, and then you've got, you've got the star, and then you've got the guy who puts in the work. It's a weird dynamic with the Profits because Montez Ford is both of those things. He's the star and he puts in the work. But like you say, I think Angelo could be a good comedy mid-carder. My worry for him is that he would go into the 24/7.
I was just gonna say that. Yeah, I'd be terrified of that.
I don't want to see that happen because I think he's too talented for that. But he's one of them guys who I can't imagine him with a mid-card title and having much of a character outside of, like I said, just
his problem is he's not very good on the mic.
Yeah, he's just very shouty, isn't he? Mm-hmm. Just very shouty.
He reminds me of oh my God, what the hell is his name? It kind of reminds me of Shad a little bit. Very quiet, a very talented guy of the group.
I'm just gonna check how many teams we've got now. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4 teams. It took us ages to start choosing teams, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. I feel like I need another team because of exactly what I said before. So, again, there's one of two. I'm gonna go for a lot of these are just. I'm ending up with a lot of rivalries that we're already seeing in real life at the minute. Yeah. But it's hard. It's hard unless you call up a lot of talent. So I'm gonna go for the Mysterios. purely for the fact that I need another team. I feel like I need another team, and it gets me Rey Mysterio.
Rey Mysterio
Or break off and do single stuff. One of my favorite wrestlers of all time, probably in my top 10. Yeah, always loved Rey. The ultimate, more so than Daniel Bryan, the ultimate underdog for me.
Easily, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with my tag division. I think that's going to be the end of my tag division. I think I've got one more team than you in mine.
I'm going to meet you with Luchadors and say Santos Escobar.
Didn't even register with me to have Santos.
I think he and I know I hate using comparisons because I think it's shitty for anybody.
I know what you're going to say.
I'm not going to say Eddie. Don't worry.
Okay.
I was just going to say he has the potential to be the next best luchador. He's what Andrade should have been.
Yes, he is Andrade, but he can speak.
He can speak. His character is better. I think he's just all around a perfect superstar.
I'm surprised that you didn't bring Legado with him.
See, I don't feel like they're going to succeed.
No, I don't.
I loved Legado. But we already have Legado on the main roster. It's the Los Lotharios. I mean, not to try and sound like racist or anything, but I mean,
no, I don't think it comes across that way at all, mate. I think you're right. You can't have two of basically the exact same team.
Literally carbon copy.
I think Garza and Humberto have got a bit more character than. Oh shit, man! I feel bad. I can't even remember their names.
It's Raul Mendoza and
Mendoza and.
Oh my god! What the hell's his name? That's gonna drive me crazy.
No, I can't think.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
Don't remember. But either way, no. Yeah, I think Garza has got more. Garza's got more charisma than both of those guys combined.
Absolutely. So
yeah, I don't think it would work, really, would it? Okay. Right then. There's a few names in here that I'm trying to fit in. Who I don't think we've even mentioned in conversation. I am going to go for a dark horse. I'm going to go for Elias.
Very nice. Is he's still on the roster? Yeah.
Yeah, he's still employed. So the last thing that I read about Elias was that they were pretty much getting ready to give him some sort of return. Obviously, they did the graveyard, burying the guitar, all that kind of stuff. The character was dead. R.I.P. Elias, blah blah blah. And then they were planning to have him come back as this like larger than life, bright, colourful character. But supposedly Vince took one look at him, and because of the beard and the bright colours, he was like, he's basically the Macho Man, Randy Savage, and he just cut short those plans. Because he is identical to Macho Man. They look literally the same.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
I don't know why.
They're not related, right?
I know Macho Man had a bit of a checkered history, a bit of a checkered past, and had a lot of shit and demons in his personal life. And obviously, there's that long-lasting rumor of him and Stephanie when she was younger. But why would you not want to replicate one of your most over-popular superstars of all time?
Right.
Fuck it, yeah. Let people be reminded of the Macho Man. That's fine.
I just feel like don't do to Elias what they did with fucking Ascension. Try to make them the Road Warriors.
Yeah.
I was so mad when they ruined them immediately.
That's a good point because, like, obviously Vince is looking at it like, oh, he looks too much like Macho Man, let's cancel it. But then you've got to worry, like, he might see it from the other perspective of, oh, he looks a lot like the Macho Man, let's lean into this.
Right.
You don't want it to be a parody.
Exactly.
Because I think Elias is awesome. Okay, over to your next one.
All right, I am going to match you on your last tag team with Jacket Time.
Okay.
So funny enough, I actually really like Jacket Time because of how incredible that crowd reaction is to them, regardless of how stupid it sounds. I'm a really big fan of how do you pronounce his name? It's Eichmann Jiro.
Yeah.
He's phenomenal. He reminds me a lot of what the hell's his name? Jimmy Wang Yang a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. I'm a big fan of Kushida. I think he's an incredible wrestler.
Yeah.
You need a good technical wrestler. I think he is it. There's more matches that you've brought up since, like, as when we were talking about Tyler Bate and all the great matches he could have against Finn Balor and stuff. Like, you've got Montez Ford, you've got Escobar versus Finn, Escobar versus Tyler, Kushida versus Tyler, Kushida versus
Escobar
Dunn.
versus Baron Corbin, bro.
Yeah, fuck you.
I think Baron Corbin against like anybody in today's NXT product and like black and gold era, I think would be just phenomenal.
Yeah, and he's a great worker. He's a really good worker. He's solid. He's dependable. He doesn't hurt anybody.
My favorite thing about Baron, to add to your dependable comment, is he has literally taken on the worst gimmicks and he has worked within every ounce of the way.
Yeah. The King went on for far too long.
The Constable went on far too long.
I really like the Constable.
I did too, but they kept it like a year too long.
Yeah, and same for the King. The King went for, I was talking about this recently with some friends. It was either 19 or 21 months, I can't remember, or 22 months, nearly 2 years. Like, no King gimmick should go that long.
I just, like I said, I hate to use the pandemic as an excuse, but I feel like COVID just shifted the company's everything.
Yeah, no, I agree. Right, okay, so I think we're even on tag teams now, aren't we? So I'm going to scrap.
It's Joaquin Wilde, by the way.
Joaquin Wilde and
Mendoza.
Wilde and Mendoza, yeah. Okay, if they're listening to this, I apologise that we didn't know your surnames. I am going to round off my mid to upper card. Damian Priest.
Damian Priest is phenomenal. Just stop that face shit.
Yes, literally, honestly, word for word, basically what I was going to say. Stop the stupid over-the-top facial expressions. They look horrendous and cringe. They're embarrassing. They make me look away when he's doing them. Keep the intensity. Do everything that he was doing in NXT. He's an awesome, athletic big man, which has always been my favorite.
I'm genuinely curious if he did that while he was Punishment Martinez. Because I've looked at some of the ridiculous stuff that some wrestlers do now, and it's just like, oh, well, that's a WWE thing. I'm like, oh no, they were doing that in the Indies. I'm like, okay,
yeah.
Like, I guess Apollo Cruz. I almost said Apollo Creed. Jesus, Apollo Cruz. He was doing the Nigerian stuff on the Indies too.
Oh, was he? Oh,
yeah.
I'll be honest. I didn't even know that he was an Indies guy.
Yeah. He was Uma, was his indie name.
Yeah, I didn't know much of him until he came to WWE, or anything for that matter. Okay, cool. Right, so I had Damian Priest. Yeah, really, really good mid-card guy. I think it's only a matter of time before he gets into the main event scene.
Absolutely.
Who is your next pick?
I'm gonna go with Big E.
Yeah, makes sense.
I'm surprised it wasn't picked yet.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm surprised it took this long, especially with me doing New Day 5 or 6.
I honestly thought you were going to pick him right after Woods and Kofi.
I'll tell you why I didn't, because I've gone off him a little bit.
Yeah.
To be honest,
I've heard that a lot.
He's still very good. Don't get me wrong. He's a great character, and he's one of those guys who can do fun and goofy, and then he can do intense and powerful. But I don't know. It wasn't a great. I tried to avoid saying his name earlier when we were talking about Jinder. It wasn't a great title run. As much of a fan of him as I am, it wasn't a great run. He didn't have the best opposition. The booking just wasn't particularly good. I was happy when Brock took the title off him. I'm a huge Brock Lesnar fan. I think I was one of the few people who wasn't outraged by that. I don't mind. Big E's great. He did the best that he could with what he was given, but
my friend's a really big Big E fan too, and he was really upset that he lost. And I'm like, listen, you got to look at it from a business perspective. He wasn't moving sales, he wasn't moving merch, and in my opinion, and I am a huge fan of the New Day and a huge fan of Big E. Get him away from the New Day stuff.
Yeah.
I understand, they're brothers and they support each other, man. But you're gonna be a champion. You gotta break away from that. Like Paul Heyman said, you gotta be serious.
I liked it when they brought back, like, when they gave him new music of his own. I liked it when they brought back the, you know, what he does with his hands when he...
Yeah.
I can't remember what it's called, like the weightlifting powder.
Yeah, it's for the weightlifting powder, yeah.
I liked how he started referencing the 5 count again as well, backstage with Sami Zayn. That was cool. I think he was a better Intercontinental champion than he was
absolutely
WWE champion. It's a shame.
Do you feel like that happens with everybody who finally makes it and then they get too comfortable?
Definitely in the last couple of years, but can we put that down to the pandemic and the lack of fans and the lack of getting invested? I don't know. It's hard to say because most mid-card reigns from the last few years haven't got to that next level yet. Obviously, like, Priest's been champion for a little while. Sheamus was US champion for a little while.
Riddle,
yeah. They didn't do anything with Ricochet after his. I think AJ is probably one of the few who had those mid-card runs and then went on to more successfully and didn't fall into the getting comfortable and getting lazy thing. I can't think of many others that have.
Yeah, I feel like the mid-card has been hurting of like anything major in the last like couple years for sure.
I was gonna say The Miz, but obviously his WWE title period was incredibly short because it was meant to be, so that you can't really put that in there. Okay, I'm gonna go for my next pick, and oddly enough, it was gonna be The Miz.
Phenomenal.
The greatest Intercontinental champion of all time. Don't care what anybody says.
Easily.
He's like 30 days short of being the all-time longest. I think he's got the joint most amount of reigns, or he might be one behind Jericho. I can't remember. I think Jericho's got 9.
I think he's one behind, yeah.
Yeah, Miz on 8, behind. Jericho on 9. About 30 days off of... is it Pedro Morales? Or is it Santana? I'm pretty sure it's Pedro Morales. I love The Miz. He made the Intercontinental title feel important again when it hadn't done for probably about a decade. He was IC champion at a time when Brock had the title, the Universal title, I think it was. He was holding it hostage, wasn't he? It was never on TV. So The Miz sort of stepped up.
Was that his 504 title reign?
Yeah, I think so.
Jesus.
The Miz basically, yeah, he just elevated the title, made it important again. He was main eventing most shows. He was main eventing most Raws at that time, with a mid-card title. He was in a feud with Roman, who was obviously still being positioned as the top guy. Miz has been great in tag teams. He's been great on the mid-card. I enjoyed his main title runs, like WWE title runs. He got to main event WrestleMania. He got to be in there with Cena and The Rock. We've talked a lot about vastly underrated wrestlers, and I think The Miz is one of them.
I think he belongs in the conversation for very criminally underrated.
Yeah, I mean, he's not going to make it onto anyone's Mount Rushmores because, honestly, he's not the best wrestler. We all know that. I think he might have the worst finisher of all time. Skull Crushing Finale just has no impact to it. I hate seeing it. It's just too blokes.
I think Liv Morgan probably has a worse finisher than he does. I cannot stand her finisher.
Oblivion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it does not look good at all.
I like the idea behind it.
Mm-hmm.
The execution, yeah, isn't.
But unless you have somebody who sells it well, it doesn't look good.
Right, I'm just going to have a quick count of how many we've got. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I've got 24, so 6 each. Let's get through these last 6 a bit more quick fire.
Okay.
Try and get this whittled down because we still got to pick all of our champions as well.
Yeah.
So I've had The Miz there. So let's go for your 25th pick.
I'm gonna add to my women's division and say Bianca Belair.
Yeah. See, this is another one who I keep occasionally thinking, how have we not picked Bianca yet?
I think it's because we have everybody in there, like NXT and NXT UK, is why she got overlooked.
Yeah. Yeah, even though she's in the title scene, like right now, you would think that she would just be one of the first ones to come to mind. But even after saying Street Profits and her husband, I didn't think of Bianca. No, Bianca's awesome. I'm a absolutely massive fan. I will match your women's pick with. I'm going to go for a call-up. I'm going to go for Raquel Gonzalez.
Raquel's phenomenal.
Raquel is awesome. She had a great showing at New Year's Evil. Great match against Rhea last year in NXT. Yeah, I think she. I don't want to fall into that thing that everybody says. She's not the next Chyna. Sure, she reminds me of Chyna. She's got that same sort of like intensity and the strength and the build. Yeah, I get where people are coming from. She's the first Raquel Gonzalez. She's not the next Chyna. I think, as much as I love Chyna, outside of her relationship with Eddie on the screen, we never saw too much character.
She got hurt a lot, didn't she? Like after that neck injury.
Even as part of thingy.
Yeah.
Why is DX?
DX, right?
Like,
right.
You know that faction. What was it called? Oh, only one of the biggest factions of all time. Yeah. DX. Even as part of DX, she never showed much character other than being a strong woman. I think Raquel's got a bit more about her, like the Latino background and her heritage. She's spoken about that. Yeah.
The only thing Chyna had going for it, to be honest with you, was the presence.
Yeah. They did a great job with Chyna of like having her in the Intercontinental scene and having her hold the title and having her in the Royal Rumble and stuff like that. But like I say, outside of that, she is fondly remembered for being different.
Yeah,
isn't she? So cool. Yeah, Raquel was my next one. Over to you.
All right, so I was torn between this guy and another guy, but I chose him because the other still needs work. Austin Theory.
Yeah, really good pick. Didn't even think of Theory myself, even after we mentioned him earlier. I think
the way I look at Austin Theory is I feel like Vince is putting in the effort with him that he did with Drew. So hopefully we'll see something out of Austin Theory here soon.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a top guy.
Easily.
He'll have a mid-card title reign this year. What's he on? He's on Raw, isn't he? So
yeah, he's on Raw, right?
Yeah, I could see him as US champion. I think it'd be quite good. Obviously, he's had a little bit of experience on the main roster already, hasn't he? When he was with
Seth Rollins.
When he was with Seth, obviously that didn't work out, and then when he was with Zelina and her little.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Yeah, it was very brief. I think a lot of people forget about it. And he got to work with Randy Orton at the time as well, didn't he? In what was going on there. So yeah, awesome. No, really good pick. I really like Theory. I am going to go for another good solid mid-card guy who needs to be used better. I think, is he on Raw now? Ricochet.
See, my thing with Ricochet when he first got signed was he was too flippy. Yeah. I'm glad that he's starting to work a little bit better. I think he has potential to be a lot better than what he has done. But
I think he's great. I think Ricochet is great. There's very few humans in the world who can do what Ricochet does, and he should be used better to appeal to more kids and get new fans invested. Like, this guy's a fucking superhero.
Right.
Use that.
Yeah.
Use that to show off your brand more. Cool. Over to you, Wade.
I'm gonna meet you with Mustafa Ali.
Oh man, that's a name I didn't think of at all. If we're talking about criminally underrated.
Well, I guess he had like that whole gimmick that he was going to do, and I guess USA basically shut it down like right away. Because I guess it came off like a really bad message.
Yeah. Would that work in this day and age? I don't know. That would have worked like 10, 20 years ago. I think
social media is just so bad, man.
Yeah, I love Mustafa Ali. Doesn't get to talk often enough because he's a great talker, man, and he's always fighting for something in real life, like it's for his family, for his culture, his heritage. He seems like a really decent guy, like a really nice guy, really passionate and hardworking. Yeah, I love Ali. He even managed to make Retribution that little bit better.
Yeah.
He helped to salvage something there and made it a little bit more interesting. Okay, right. So what did you do? You've just gone for a sort of like a mid card guy. I am going to call somebody up from NXT, Mr. Joe Gacy.
Joe Gacy is so good, man. So good.
Mike, regular of the show, Mike Nunn, will be very happy with that. Joe Gacy is his absolute favourite. He reminds me of Kevin Owens in his look and the way that he moves around the ring and the way that he wrestles. His character is just the most unbelievably perfect fit for 2022.
Right.
You know, everything he says is the truth, and it pisses people off, and that just proves that what he's saying is the truth.
Right.
You know, I love how he calls his fans snowflakes.
Snowflakes.
It's so clever, and it's so simple as well, because he's literally just echoing real life and real life culture. And it's really good. I don't know what the deal is with him and Haaland. I imagine, as these stories always go, Haaland will eventually turn on him, eventually snap. I don't know if that'll make Gacy into a face. I don't know. Yeah. Haaland doesn't strike me as a face. I would like to see Gacy. For me, he's not a heel, and he's also obviously not a face. He's a bit of a
very
anti-hero. Yeah, it's like he's trying to give the right message, but he's doing it in a very arrogant, cocky.
Right.
You know, I loved what he did with getting rid of the weight classification.
Yeah.
To get that match for the cruiserweight title.
That was so funny. Yeah.
So funny and so topical and so current as well.
When he started talking about privilege, I'm like, oh no, this man's gonna get canceled. My next pick is gonna be Nakamura.
Yeah, shames me to say that I forgot about Nakamura. Such a shame. Would you put Nakamura in that underrated thing? I think I would. No, it's more underutilized than underrated.
Underutilized. I wouldn't say underrated. I'd say underutilized.
Yeah,
they did. Go ahead.
I was just going to say I was really happy when he won the Rumble.
Yeah.
I thought it was a great choice. He was super popular, super over, and they just didn't know what to do with him, which is why I worry about Asian wrestlers because of what they did with him.
See, but at least he brings character to the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the stuff with Rick Boogs is awesome.
Yeah, I like what they're doing there. The only problem that I have with it is the Intercontinental title is my favourite title. It always has been. Basically, everyone who's ever held it has been one of my favourite wrestlers. So I just don't like to see it not defended. The last time it was defended on pay-per-view was WrestleMania.
Jesus.
So by the time this episode goes out, assuming he hasn't defended it on pay-per-view between now and then, it'll basically be a year. And, you know, there was a period in the IC title's history where it went about 6 or 8 WrestleManias, I forget, without even being featured. It just meant nothing. Nobody cared about it. And I don't want it to get back to that point. It hasn't felt like... I thought Apollo was a good IC champion. I thought Big E was great. But I still think it hasn't meant anything since Miz.
Yeah, that's fair.
It needs somebody like Sheamus or Drew.
The fact that Cena has never held that title either is mind-blowing to me.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd think if anybody's a Grand Slam champion, it'd be Cena, wouldn't it? But no. Cool. Okay, right, so that was another mid-card guy. I am going to struggle, to be honest. I'm really running out of names that are coming to me.
There's a lot of UK talent that hasn't been used either.
Yeah.
I had my eyes on one of them.
I am going to go for another tag team. I'm going to go for Alpha Academy.
Alpha Academy's great.
Because I want to round off my underrated list by throwing Chad Gable in there. One of the best pure wrestlers anywhere in the world.
He's so damn good.
So yeah, Chad Gable has to make it into there somehow. Let me just check where we are. 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20, 28. Yeah, so we've got 2 left each. You are up next.
Okay. I'm gonna throw out a controversial pick and pick Jordan Devlin.
Ooh, no, that's not controversial to me, man. I think he's awesome. Sure, yes, he's obviously done things. But no, that's another really good pick.
Just because I loved him versus Finn Balor. So damn good.
Yeah, I agree. Fuck, man, this is difficult now. I know we've only got 2 left, so I could just pick any random names, but there's one name in there that I'm intentionally not picking. And people are probably screaming like, why have you not picked him? I'm not bothered about I'm obviously not bothered about keeping our divisions exactly the same amounts of people in each division, so I'm going to go for a woman who needs to be used properly. Go for Rhea Ripley.
Oh yeah, I love Rhea.
Loved everything about Rhea in NXT. Her presentation, her look, her strength, her brutality. She's a very good wrestler. She's very good at what she does. I was sad when she didn't win the Rumble, but I was happy that Bianca won it. It was very sort of like conflicting feelings. Yeah, Rhea has been...
Bianca is probably one of the best things that's happened to that women's division. It's absolutely insane to me.
Yeah, absolutely. But Rhea could have been as well, and she should have been.
Yeah. I'm torn on my last pick. I am going to go with Bobby Lashley.
Oh my god, yeah.
I had to look. I'm like, damn, I'm pretty sure we picked him already because we were talking about him.
Shit, that's bad, isn't it? Like we've mentioned everybody in that title picture at the moment.
Yeah.
Like we even literally said about half an hour ago, like, oh, it's going to be Brock versus Lashley.
Right.
Yet we haven't mentioned him, yeah. No, that's a really good pick. Another really good pick. I'm going to go for a name that we have spoken about earlier. I'm glad you didn't mention him. I didn't know if I should pick him or not. I'm pretty sure he's going to be one for the future. I'm going to go for Grayson Waller.
So funny thing is, I actually was torn between him and Theory.
Why did you go for Theory?
Because I think Theory is ready opposed to Grayson Waller. I feel like he needs a little more work.
Yeah.
I think Grayson's awesome.
Yeah, I think he's a very good. I think he has the potential to be a better Miz.
Yeah. Okay, I can see that.
He's got that attitude, hasn't he? But we know that he can also. I know we've not seen loads of him wrestling in the ring,
but he's a heat magnet.
Yeah, like the Miz is at his best, but I think Grayson can probably go a bit more than Miz can.
Grayson's comment, I think it was this past Tuesday or maybe the Tuesday before that, when he's like, "I know the people that need to like me, not you guys." I was just like, "Damn, man!" Like that was a good line. Whoever fed him that was pretty damn smart.
It's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's going to be great. So that is it. That's our main roster.
So really quick, I'm actually kind of disappointed neither one of us picked Cesaro.
See, so he's literally the guy who I just said I'm avoiding picking him.
Ah, okay.
I think Cesaro is overrated. I think
I'm actually kind of glad somebody said that.
I honestly, man, I've said it for so long. I think he's one of the best hot tags anywhere in the world. He's amazing at a hot tag. Yeah. Obviously, he's a good spectacle doing the spin and doing all that kind of stuff. He's great at what he does. Don't get me wrong. There are so many reasons why he hasn't been a world champion. There's so many reasons why he's more than he is. All of the talent in the world. If you can't connect with an audience, if you can't sell merchandise, if you can't put butts in seats, as Tony would say, you ain't going to be champion. It's that simple. And if 1 million people are saying you are underrated, you're not underrated. By definition of all those people rating you, you are not underrated. Maybe in the company's eyes, you would say underutilized, like we keep saying throughout this episode. But you're not underrated if everybody thinks that you're shit hot and should be champion. Right. That doesn't make sense.
I agree.
I'm just not bothered by Cesaro. I think
he reminds me of Chris Hero, and I don't like Chris Hero.
Yeah, I can see.
Don't like his work at all.
No, I know exactly what you mean. Right, okay. I am going to start. Oh, actually, no, I'll let you choose who's your Universal Champion. Shall I assume Roman? Let's go back.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Roman. Yeah,
it's got to be Roman. It makes sense.
It's the easiest pick.
Fantastic. Intercontinental?
Cameron Grimes.
Okay, yeah, nice. Fits his character, doesn't it? Having a title and... Okay, SmackDown Tag Champs.
See, I'm torn on MSK and Mustache Mountain. For the sole fact that I feel like they get over it instantly, MSK.
Yep. I would have gone for MSK, I think, out of your whole list. SmackDown Women's Champ?
SmackDown Women's Champion would probably be the go-to, and that's Mandy Rose.
Okay.
Keep her in her current gimmick too.
King of the Ring.
Oh, so I actually have a good one because of NXT UK, Joe Coffey.
Okay, yep.
Because he calls himself the Irish King, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay, so I'm going to do my champions and then we're going to move on to commentary. So I'm going to go. I mean, it just makes sense for Brock to be my WWE champion. US champion. I am going to go for.
You got so many good picks.
Yeah, it's tough. I really, oh man, loads of these have been US champion and they've been very good US champions. So I'm going to try and go. I think Braun. I think Braun Breaker gives him something to work with to, like, get himself over and get himself established. Tag team champions. My original plan was I didn't want to go for an existing team. I wanted to pair somebody together.
Yeah.
I don't think I've got that many who really fit together. No. Oh no, because you got Kevin Owens. I was going to do Seth and Kevin Owens. I tell you what, I will go for. I'll go for Grizzled Young Veterans.
I was going to say that, yeah.
And then what was my last one? So Raw Women's Champion. Shayna. Give Shayna the spotlight she deserves. Alright then, let's move. Oh, I've got 24/7 champion as well, haven't I? So I need somebody that can just be.
Put it on almost.
He's never.
Nobody would beat him.
Never losing it. Shall I put it on Drew? No, I am going to put it on. I worry that Joe Gacy would be the kind of guy that they'd put it on. But
Oh my god, it'd be so good. The inclusive championship.
Let's make it matter a bit more and put it on the Miz.
Okay.
I think he could do some fun stuff with it. And it'd be fun to see Maurice take it off him as well. Right then, so we're going to go on to our commentary teams. We've basically done this for... You can have a wrestler on commentary. Obviously, we've seen lots of wrestlers on commentary in the past. Anybody across any brand who's working on commentary, anyone backstage, anybody who's a manager, anybody who's an on-screen authority figure, whatever it might be. So, who would be your first one, Wade?
I gotta go with the easy one, say Pat McAfee.
You motherfucker, yeah. I knew you were going to... Not surprised.
Pat is just so damn good at what he does, man. I love it.
He is. He really is. He's a breath of fresh air. I love what he and Cole... I love their chemistry.
Yeah.
And for that reason, I am going for Michael Cole. I'm not letting you have him.
Oh, that's fine. I got a super out of the box one for my second pick.
I think
Nigel McGuinness.
No, Nigel was
really.
He's awesome.
That's amazing.
Honestly, he was. I've only gone for Nigel was going to be my first one, but I went for Cole, thinking that you might take Cole. Yeah, I love Nigel. I think he's one of the most underrated wrestlers ever.
He's incredible.
So sad that he didn't get an opportunity to wrestle for WWE because he's incredible. Okay, right. So obviously that messes mine up a little bit now. Okay, if we're going outside the box, and these two guys would work together beautifully.
Oh, Paul Heyman commentary is my favorite.
Paul Heyman on
so good.
Paul Heyman on commentary. He basically always had somebody who was like quite strong on commentary with him. Like, obviously, when he was with JR, JR would give as good as he got. Imagine how much Heyman would bully Michael Cole.
Especially during the invasion storyline, man. Oh my god.
Yeah, it'd be great. Especially Heyman at this part of his career. So yeah, who's your third and final?
My third and final will probably be Wade Barrett.
Okay, yeah. I like what Wade has brought to the table in.
And I just feel like with the combination of Nigel being really good at play-by-play, Pat is really good at the little quips, and Wade Barrett is just such a good heel.
Yeah, completely agree, mate. Really good. That's a really good table, and you've got two Brits on there, which I obviously like.
Yeah.
So I didn't have Barrett in mind. In mind for mine, I am going to go for... It messes up my team a little bit because he's going to be a bit too similar to Paul Heyman, but I am a big fan of Corey Graves.
feel like Corey and Paul could work very well off of each other.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think there's any harm in having two heels. I think Heyman would be more of like an outright like full on heel commentator, whereas Corey
Yeah.
at least sort of like tells the truth.
And he kind of like stays like whatchamacallit, the today's references. Like he's very
Yeah,
I can't think of the damn word. You know what I mean.
yeah, like very like culturally appropriate,
Right, yeah, there you
but
go.
not too much like Mauro Ranallo
Yeah.
because he always bugged me.
Mara was just so over the top.
He was almost too keen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then. So the big one. So pick who your general manager would be. Now, if you pick who I have picked, I have only got one person in mind, so I'm going to be fucking heartbroken because I don't know who I'm going to pick.
All right, just because I'm a really, really big fan of the Authority, um, I'd probably go Triple H, Stephanie.
That's fine. Triple H / Stephanie McMahon. Okay, yeah, really good. No, I was a big fan of the Authority. I love an authority figure. I love a general manager. So many people
Just it always adds that something. You know what I mean?
it helps. It gives you like if things are getting bad and you've got nothing else to lean on, wrestler versus authority, it always works. Cena versus the authority, Bryan versus the authority, Kofi Mania. It's easy writing. Okay, I'm really glad that you went for them because it means that I get to pick Samoa Joe.
You know what's really funny is I was actually going to go for him originally. That I was just kind of like,
He was going to be on my commentary.
Too easy. Yeah.
He was going to be on my commentary team because I thought he was so good on Raw.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think a general manager position is tailor made for someone like Joe. And with William Regal's release yesterday, who knows if they go back to having a proper general manager? You know, we know that Joe's there. We know he's working. He's probably stepped into Regal's backstage role. So I'd love to see him back on TV a bit.
Right.
I liked it. I know it was very brief when they have him being Regal's enforcer kind of thing, but I was a really big fan of that.
And I think that was like the beginning of like them pushing William Regal out too.
I like to think that Regal stuck around a bit longer to help Joe like get ready.
Yeah, exactly my point. Right.
Because Regal could have walked away at any point. We don't know if he's been released, if he's been fired, if he's chosen to go. Could have come to the end of his contract. We don't know.
If I'm not mistaken, didn't he want to leave before Joe came back? I thought I heard like he wanted to leave.
He's been there a long old time, like
long time.
Years, given everything to the company. As you've probably seen my tweet, I'm not upset by these most recent releases. NXT is changing, and at the minute, I think it's changing for the better.
Absolutely.
I don't like it as much as I like the black and gold. It was my favourite period of wrestling ever, more than the Attitude Era, more than anything in my life. It just clicked and connected with me so much. But I've started to really enjoy 2.0 the last few weeks, last couple of months.
They've made a lot of people care about it again.
Yeah, I'm not mad at any of the changes. I was at first. People were fucking angry when Braun Breaker kicked through that big X.
Yeah.
Grow up.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Right.
So yeah, there we go, man. That was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that. That is our full team. So I will quickly run down these again for anybody on audio. So myself on Raw, we had Brock Lesnar, Walter, Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks, Sheamus, Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, AJ Styles, Alexa Bliss, Ilia Dragonov, Randy Orton, The Usos, Grizzle Young Veterans, Shayna Baszler, Dakota Kai, Omos, Braun Breaker, Cora Jade, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods as the New Day, the Dirty Dogs, the Mysterios, Elias, Damian Priest, The Miz, Raquel Gonzalez, Ricochet, Joe Gacy, Alpha Academy, Rhea Ripley and Grayson Waller. Wade over on SmackDown had Roman Reigns, Kevin Owens, Cameron Grimes, Io Shirai, Kaylee Ray, Baron Corbin, Charlotte Flair, Carmelo Hayes, Bayley, Pete Dunne, Tommaso Ciampa, LA Knight, MSK, Mustache Mountain, Xia Li, Edge, Finn Balor, Toxic Attraction, Mandy Rose, or well, I guess they come as one. Gallus, Street Profits, Santos Escobar, Jacket Time, Big E, fucking Jacket Time, Big E, Bianca Belair, Austin Theory, Mustafa Ali, Shinsuke Nakamura, Jordan Devlin, and Bobby Lashley. Awesome, everybody. thank you for sitting through this. Bit of a long episode, but I don't care. It flew by for me. I really enjoyed that. Comment below and comment on Twitter as well, and let us know who you think had the best roster, who you think had the best champions, best general manager, best commentary team. Wade, my friend, thank you so much for joining me. It is always a pleasure having you on the show. I think you've been on probably a few times now because you've done a couple of quizzes as well. It's always
Mr.
a blast.
300.
Mr. 300, of course. I'm surprised you didn't pick 300 wrestlers. No, man, like I say, thank you for giving me your time. It's always appreciated. Before I let you go, like I always do, let people know where you are on social media and where they can follow you and all that kind of stuff.
You can follow me at Mercy with a Mouth. Constantly pissing off AEW fans and blocked by every journalist.
Yeah, man, and I'm proud to say that I've been blocked by Dave Meltzer now.
Huge W. Huge W.
Because I pointed out that he was attacking fans needlessly for not sharing the same opinion as him. So if that's what I'm getting blocked for, I'm happy to get blocked for it. Guys, like I said, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. I forgot to say at the start, but please make sure you hit subscribe if you've watched this on YouTube. Please make sure you hit follow if you've been listening on audio. Drop a comment. Let me know if you enjoy the episode. Share your thoughts on our rosters. And I look forward to seeing you next time on It's My Wrestling Podcast.